Hey, what's up guys? Gons here for the Face Like the Sun channel. Major power outages coincide in LA, New York, and San Francisco. Now, of course, they call it a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences, especially at this level. I think if we trace back some things here, we got to keep in mind all the media that's been pushed out there, either side, it doesn't matter. The controlled opposition, InfoWars, all that stuff. And if you recall, a French foreign minister said they had 500 days to avoid climate chaos. Now, this was back in May of 2014.
We have 500 days to avoid the climate chaos. Very important issue of climate change, climate chaos, and I said that we had 500 days to avoid the climate chaos, and I know that President Obama and John Kerry himself are committed on this subject, and I'm sure that with them, with a lot of other friends, we shall be able to reach a success in this very important matter.
So this was on May 13th, 2014. 500 days later, to the date, Pope Francis came and met at the General Assembly of the United Nations and announced the 2030 Sustainable Development Agenda. Now that really indicated that there's going to be a fourth industrial revolution. They're going to completely rebuild the infrastructure, and they're not going to let a good demo go to waste, right? So they're going to have to create some sort of chaos. And what a great way to do it, through climate control. They're bringing out the big toys now. I think part of the rub between the Trump administration and, fighting the globalists, that whole facade was put there in order to give an excuse to bring out these big gun toys, these big HAARP, whatever it is, that they're controlling the weather with. And so what we're seeing now is that culmination starting to happen. Maybe they're using it. And I say that because right when Trump was elected, InfoWars, Alex Jones, reported that they're going to start releasing high-level technology. They're going to start releasing all that tech, right? I'm just asking the question. I'm just suspicious. Why would they say that? Why would they bring that up and report on it? And there hasn't been anything really since then to indicate, that there's something that's hitting the market. Obviously, it takes time, but it's just too convenient that happens, and then we have this power outage in 3 of the major metropolitan cities, in the United States, heavily relied on the electrical grid, and they go down, and, the Department of Justice saying that they're escalating crackdowns in 9 jurisdictions, and, this is all part of the narrative to rebuild, and so they're going to start tearing down some things, and it's covert. If the weather and earthquakes and stuff like that make it happen, then, these controllers, they don't really get blamed for anything. Who's going to believe that they're behind all these disasters? And just a reminder, I think they've used this technology in other places around the world with earthquakes and disasters and things like that, but now they're starting to hit the United States with it, or they're planning to anyway. I don't know if they're going to be able to carry it out, or we don't know anything, but at the same time, I think they are preparing for that narrative, and war along with it, perfect storm of chaos. Matthew 13:8, but also I like Matthew 24:7, talking about the end days. For nation will rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there will be famines and earthquakes in various places. And that famines and earthquakes, Jesus understood that it's going to be controlled. It's going to be manufactured as part of the end times deception. And the rising of nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom, we're seeing that, corporations fighting each other or battling for the technological top of the mountain with the singularity approaching and all this stuff, right? So we're seeing that, plus we see the military and the systematic teardown of third world nations, the systematic teardown of all world economies through the dollar, and some people are trying to get away from that, and that's a whole drama happening there, which is setting up for the mark of the beast, ultimately a one world currency, which, world leaders are calling for. This is crazy. We're in a time where things are absolutely nuts. So I just wanted to throw that down, let you guys know. And, this kind of stuff, this kind of news shouldn't bring fear in your heart. If you're really saved, this kind of stuff is pretty exciting, not because you want disaster to happen, just because there's an answer here. It's kind of like, hey, we understand the bigger journey here. We understand that you got to go through some of this, and that's what builds character. That's what builds up who you are. And perseverance is a virtue, and so we have to maintain our faith and maintain the truth. And actually, to be honest, it makes things a lot easier, knowing that God has this. Yeah, it's pretty chaotic and all this stuff is going on, but I trust God, and I trust that He's going to lead me. So those are some quick thoughts on this power outage and everything happening. Have an awesome day, guys. God bless.